You ready? Here we go. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the show. And on today's show, it's time to look back and reminisce because, folks, today is the end of an era. Today is the final episode of DSP versus the Internet, my now 2-year running Clips React show over on my DSP Reacts channel. And listen, it's been a fun and wild ride. What I'd like to do today on the show is reminisce a bit and talk about what worked and what didn't work and what we learned over the last 2 years about how reacting content can work on YouTube. I feel like we can take the lessons from this show and enjoy them in another format, which we're going to do. But in addition, I got some updates regarding my upcoming DS Politics show. We've got some updates regarding the games I'm playing and the schedule and the like. So we're going to have a fun, chill, and relaxing day on today's episode of the Level 1 Podcast.
Get ready for some meaningful content, because the king is back, the king of the live stream, the king is back. Woo!
Alrighty then. Sorry that I always keep forgetting to get my door out of the shot whenever I do a show and Jasper's in the room. I hope everyone's doing well and you are ready for some fun today. It is Monday, the 11th of November, 2024. Day 2 in my 6 days of streaming this week. And it's going to be a good one, right? We're going to have a lot of fun today. Not only are we doing the final React show ever of DSP versus the Internet, that is, meaning the long-form React show, but also the premiere of Bloodborne, my 3rd playthrough ever of the game, premiering on the late stream tonight. It's going to be very exciting, and I hope that you guys are as pumped as I am, now playing it on the PS5 Pro with a performance boost, which basically means itsy bitsy tiny little bit of detail extra. Anyway, before we get to all of that, ladies and gentlemen, I want to take a moment to say thank you to the men and the women who've served in the American military, because today is Veterans Day in the United States of America. It is a day that we take some time to observe the dedication, the sacrifice that those who have served in our armed forces, have given. It is very much the people in the American armed forces who protect our country and allow us to have the freedoms that we enjoy every single day. And they sacrifice a lot. Some of them, the ultimate sacrifice, their lives. And it is a very honorable, respectable thing to have served in this country's military. So thank you to anyone out there who's watching who has, and to all out there, just thanks so very much. Without you and what you give to our country, I would not be able to sit here today broadcasting to a live audience, sharing my thoughts, making content, and doing what I love for a living. So thank you so very much. Okay, so, by the way, if you hear any noise, it's Jasper Kitty. He's in the hallway going crazy. So, when I was unboxing my PS5 Pro a couple days ago, some of the wires had those twist ties on them. He loves twist ties. He goes crazy for them. And I had accidentally, well, not really accidentally, but I had left 2 of them on the TV stand over there. He found one and he started going crazy playing with it and tossed it into the hallway. Now he's going all over, like catching it like his prey and batting it around. So he may be zipping in and out of the room today as I broadcast. And if he does calm down and come in here, maybe I'll give him some burst treats, since he tends to like them. Here he is. He just zipped in again. He's loving it. All right, guys. So today's going to be a good day, a day of reminiscing and a day of moving forward positively. All right. And you might say, well, what does that mean? Well, today is the final episode of my React show, DSP versus the Internet. The show is going to end on episode 90. And if you look at the time frame, we actually started doing that show in early February of 2023. And here we are, November 2024, and it's finally coming to a close. Now, I want you to understand The show is not a failure in any shape of the word. The reason that I continued to do the show for so long is because I enjoyed it, some of my audience enjoyed it, and it made me some money. It's not like, oh, I was just doing it and it was a complete waste of everybody's time. Keep in mind that that show basically was financed by people becoming members on the DSP Reacts channel, which you can find at youtube.com/@DSP Reacts. Okay. And the way that it would work is that basically people who were members of that channel, there's two tiers where you could submit clips. Submissions tier, which is like $4 or $5 a month. I think it's $4.99 a month. And then there's the ultra tier over there. That's like $20 a month. So what is the difference? Well, the ultra tier, they were guaranteed to get their clip watched on the show. And since a membership lasts a month, that means for $20, you get to get 4 clips watched every single month. That's pretty good. For those who gave the $5 a month, you would submit 2 clips a week and they would be put into a randomized playlist that we would just let YouTube determine the order. And so you had an equal chance to get your clip watched along with everyone else. So obviously way less of a chance to get your video watched, but that's also why it was $5 instead of 20, right? So how did the show do? Well, initially, when this show started, all right, it did very well. We were actually getting a good amount of views. The videos that I was putting out were getting like, I think the first episode got over 10,000 views, which is actually quite high for any video that I would upload to YouTube these days. And the streams were doing well as well. Initially, interest was high. And if I remember correctly, I had upwards of 20, 30 Ultra members and something like 50 plus standard members. So the first month or two, the show was making a ton of money. And I was like, wow, people have asked me for years, instead of just being a gamer who games all day and reviews games and does gaming related content, branch out and do this React style stuff, which everyone else does on the internet except you. You're like the only dude who's a full-time content creator who isn't doing this React content, and we don't get it. Like, we would like to see that from you. We want to see you branch out and do variety. So I did. Now, how did it work and what happened over time? Well, here's what happened. We're going to be very honest here, okay? Going into the show like this, I had no experience doing it. I didn't know how it was going to go, how to handle certain clips or issues. And a lot of stuff happened over the course of the 2 years that sadly I feel like kind of hurt the show. All right. So number one, something that obviously no one really knew at the time when I started the show. YouTube has issue with certain kinds of videos and allowing them to either be live streamed, monetized, or both. For example, there are some videos that are flagged on YouTube, the site as a whole, as just for kids. Now, this baffles me because, for example, some of the stuff that's been flagged has been like a video of SpongeBob. SpongeBob's been around for over 20 years. Sure, there are definitely kids who watch SpongeBob, but there's also adults who watch SpongeBob or want to watch a video about SpongeBob because they grew up watching it. Why can't we watch a clip of SpongeBob on my show? Because YouTube flags that video as just for kids content, meaning no one who watches anything SpongeBob can monetize it on YouTube. And if you watch it on a stream, it could demonetize your whole stream. Now, admittedly, most of the revenue that I made from my React content was the memberships, financing the show. But I want to be able to monetize my work. I shouldn't be sitting here for 3 hours, 3.5 hours, some afternoons reacting to stuff and then be told, you make no money on your work today because you looked at a SpongeBob clip. I think that's absolutely ludicrous, and I think that YouTube needs to refine their systems, but YouTube has a lot of issues, right? So right there off the bat, a lot of the times people would be submitting clips, and I tell them, I'm sorry, we actually can't watch your clip on the show because of this dumb issue, okay? We're going to continue in a second, but I want to do some shout-outs. Shout out to Bookworm. 29 months as a member. Says Happy Veterans Day. Thank you all. Yes, thank you again to all who serve. And we actually did receive a tip early on today, and I forgot to shout it out. It's a $2 tip from Peter Pecker. Oh, this is all right. This is obviously funny. Okay. Here's a $2 tip. This is a parody tip. Let me get it on the leaderboard, and I'll read it out. We're going to get a good laugh out of this one, and then we'll continue talking about the React show. All right. So, here we go. This is Peter Pecker. I need your advice. I was fired from 2 jobs between January and August of this year because I was spending all day in detractor chats during my work hours instead of actually doing my job. Since then, I've been spending 40 hours per week hate watching you in detractor restreams while I'm collecting unemployment, all while telling other detractors that Phil needs to get a job. I also openly talk about how I lost over $100,000 gambling, even though I call you an idiot because you spent some money on WWE champions. I'm down to my final chip. What can I do to turn things around? Please help me, King. Now, obviously, this is probably an over-the-top, exaggerated situation of someone making fun of my detractors and trolls, but the ultimate truth is this. If the camera gets turned back against my detractors, if we start to analyze them, we are going to find far more lol cow stupidity than you've ever seen in any of my content or streams. Because I admit I've made many mistakes over the years, but I've learned from them. But those people are walking, living embarrassments to humanity. But they don't want the camera turned back upon them. Because God forbid that we analyze their lives like they analyze mine. We would have a laugh fucking riot. I mean, there's people who sit there all day doing podcasts 2-3 times a week that all they do is talk about nonsensical minutia in my life. 8 hours covering my cat. Yes, that actually happened. All right? People who say, oh, I'm just going to literally restream every single piece of content that Phil does without any commentary on it to pull views away from him. Squeeze me? You're going to do what? You're literally going to sit here and stream every moment I'm streaming? So what are you going to be doing in your real life during that time? Nothing. Sitting there. And this is your life. But I'm the one who's pathetic. Really. Anyway. Yeah, it's absolutely pretty silly and ridiculous. And we could do this all day. And maybe one day we will. Because like I said, there very well could be potential for some very big hilarity and views, quite frankly, in actually micro-analyzing my detractors who are way bigger lolcows than me. And every time I say that, they seethe and they cope and they freak out and they can't take it. I mean, there's tiny little Twitter accounts with like 100 followers who are following them and making fun of them, and they can't take that. Can you imagine if I did it? I mean, look at what happened with duty streams within just a couple of times of me doing it, and look what happened with Super Crazy, who has disappeared from the internet. Anyway, that's neither here nor there, not the topic for today, but thank you for the chit, and thank you for the laugh. Okay. So, let's get back to the topic at hand, my React show. So, one problem we had with the React show was that anything that was deemed content for children, we could never watch on the show, and therefore it immediately eliminated quite a lot of clips from being watched. Another thing, which is literally the opposite side of the spectrum here, is clips that are actually flagged on YouTube as only for adults, okay? You might say, well, what kind of content is that? To be honest with you, it's not even content that, like, would be deemed for, like, a rated R movie. Because you might think, oh, maybe it's, like, gore or stuff like that. No, it's basically stuff with risque content, you know, a really strong language or something about race or something about, you know, a dangerous situation, you know, videos with cops involved in them and stuff like that. It's been really dumb stuff, quite frankly. Like, I think maybe once or twice I discovered a clip like, oh, I probably wouldn't want to watch that on my show. For the most part, the videos that are labeled as adults only on YouTube are not actually that bad. It's just that YouTube wants to err on the side of caution because they don't want another ad apocalypse. For those who don't know, back in 2017, a ton of big high-profile advertisers literally pulled out of YouTube and said, we no longer want to advertise on your site because you're putting our ads on videos that are absolutely ridiculously risque, over-the-top stuff that we would never want to advertise on. We're talking videos where people were ranting about race wars and how, you know, they liked Nazis, or, you know, real terrorist-style content, or people saying the N-word, and then there's an ad for Starbucks on it, right? So after that happened, YouTube basically made it so that certain videos would be flagged as adults only, so that way ads don't go on them. Not necessarily they can't even care about you watching the content, they just don't want ads going on inappropriate videos and then them losing all ad revenue again, right? So the problem is you never really know what video will be flagged or won't be flagged. So people would be submitting videos for the show, and without fail, at least a couple videos a week would be flagged as adults only. And I'd have to go back to the person who was a member and be like, well, I'm sorry, we can't watch your clip this week. It's not something that I do. I'm not weeding it out. It's just that we just can't watch it. Could you maybe submit 2 clips next week and stuff like that? And basically what's happened is we went from a show, right, that was getting, probably about 50 to 70 members a month. And these problems have made these members kind of get just disinterested in the show, because we can't always watch the clips that they want me to watch, right? Now, in addition to that, let's be honest as well, as the numbers start to dwindle and the interest starts to wane, because when you're doing a show every week, it doesn't feel special anymore, right? If you're doing a show every once in a while, special. If you're doing it literally every week, it doesn't feel so special anymore. So what ended up happening was, what ended up happening was people, reduced the amount that they were becoming members. So the clips started to come every week from the same people, right? And of course, if we have the same 10 people who are ultra members submitting clips every week, you're going to start to see a pattern. Videos about Warhammer 40K, videos about Singapore, or, things like that are similar topics. And after a while of seeing a few of those videos, you start to get tired of them, right? Videos from the same content creators doing skits, the same cooking channel, right? Over and over and over. And you're like, oh, all right, I'm tired of this now. But hey, it's the same person who's an ultra member, and they like me reacting to that clip, and they have the right to request it. So ultimately, where I feel the show kind of went wrong, there's a couple missteps here. And these are things that there was no way we were going to learn about this until essentially I did the show, right? Like, I had to do the show to learn the lessons to make better content in the long term. So lesson number 1, if I'm going to do React content, I pretty much shouldn't do it on YouTube. I should stream it somewhere else where they're not going to flag my stream or take down my stream or demonetize my stream. I should do it somewhere where I know it's not going to be interrupted. If you don't know how it works on YouTube, if you're streaming and it's, oh, this clip is deemed for kids or for adults, or, oh, that's content ID matching content on YouTube. What they do is they take your stream down for 3 minutes until the AI algorithm determines that you're no longer streaming the copywritten content, and then your stream will come back. But it's very frustrating to have to deal with that in the middle of a live stream. You're looking over like, oh, come on, the stream went down. Now I got to pause, wait 3 minutes. Then I got to fast forward to the next clip. Why won't they just let me watch what I want to watch? If you stream on other places, for example, streaming on Kick doesn't do that at all. Kick lets you stream. Now, they'll tell you after the fact, okay? After the fact, they'll tell you, hey, you did something that we don't approve of, delete the clip. But they're not going to shut your stream down unless you're doing extreme stuff. You know what I mean? Like, Kick is a lot better at it. I actually heard that Kino Casino, like last year, the year before, they actually were live streaming and reacting to like a Scooby-Doo movie live, which obviously you can't do. It's copywritten. And they got away with it. And then after the fact, basically, Kick contacted them and said, don't do that again and delete the video on demand. And they did. And then they didn't get into any trouble. So they're a lot more lenient with how stuff happens on Kick. So if I'm going to do React content, I absolutely should be streaming it on Kick. Like, it just makes sense. Why would I stream it on YouTube when we know we're going to possibly have all of these problems? Kids videos, adult videos, content ID matches, stupid stream getting shut down. It doesn't make sense. It's just too much of a pain in the ass. I want to have a streamlined, uninterrupted experience for you guys. Not we're sitting here and we never know what we're doing. We're walking on eggshells watching these clips. It's dumb, right? It's just a really stupid system. So that's the first part. We'll talk about the second part in a second. But I want to do another shout out. I received a $2.01 tip from Big Larry Gaming. I saw a video today from a content creator. A 71-year-old man has gotten hit by an ambulance and it fractured his nose. The ambulance took him to the hospital and billed him $1,800, even though they hit him. He's suing the ambulance and the hospital he was at for $1 million. Do you think he'll win? It was a video from Critical. You don't have to read this part. Well, then why'd you put it there? Right? I mean, obviously that's a ludicrous situation, and the person is within their rights to sue both the ambulance and the hospital. So there you go. I don't know what else you actually want me to say about that. It sounds ridiculously stupid and irresponsible that they did that. All right. I really don't know what else you want me to say to that. Okay. And by the way, guys, please support the stream today. As you know, the streak continues. Now, I forgot to check what number we're at. Hold on a second here. I screwed up yesterday. I think I accidentally increased the streak by too much. Hold on, I have to click on a video and watch it to figure this out.
YouTube ads?
And now there's a goddamn ad playing.
like
Fuck you and your mother. I just want to fucking check my own video. I really don't understand why YouTube runs ads on your own videos. They absolutely should not do that. So according to this, no, we were at 58 last night. Okay, I'm just double checking this to make sure the streak is where it's supposed to be. So what if we check yesterday's podcast? I do have YouTube Premium, but I don't have 3 accounts. And I'm logged into the browser as one account that doesn't have it. It's so dumb. Okay, so we started yesterday at 57. Then we hit 58 and 59, so it's correct. We're at 59 right now. Okay. So we're at streak 59. All right. Obviously, we want to keep the momentum going. We want to get it all the way to Friday. So if you do the math, then it would be 60, 61. Tomorrow will be 62, 63. Wednesday, I'm only doing 1 stream, so that's 64. Thursday would be 65, 66. So when we hit 67, goal hit of 67, we are going to be doing DSP Tries It, the entire decade's menu from Taco Bell. It's 4 different items, including a burrito with some green sauce, a Mexi Melt, a tostada, and a Supreme Gordita. So it's a good, interesting thing. It's something to do that's similar to the old DSP Tries It formula of trying fast food, new items. I think you guys will really enjoy it. So please support the stream today. Super chats, super stickers, memberships, and gifted memberships on the YouTube side. Subs and gifted subs on the Kick side. And of course, tips, which could cover both sides because they're through PayPal, which is either, it's capable of doing. Let's keep the momentum rolling, shall we? And thank you so much. Okay, Game Ticker with a €2 super chat says, what do you enjoy most about Souls-like games? What I like most about Souls-like games is, okay, I like 2 things, because I can't really narrow it down. There's 2 things I really like. Number 1, the worlds are usually very immersive, connected, and they feel like well-designed experiences. When you're playing a Souls game, or I should say a Souls-like or a FromSoft style Souls game, you know that you're in for some silly surprises, some cheap tricks, some awesome epic bosses, really cool, well-designed locales, great music. You know you're in for a treat where everything around you has been hand-designed, correct? That's number 1. Number 2, I like the fact that when you really put time and effort into learning the systems of a FromSoft game, you basically get rewarded, right? It's tough, too, because every FromSoft game is a little different, whether you're playing Dark Souls, Demon Souls, Bloodborne, Sekiro, more recently Elden Ring. They all have their little nuances and things you need to learn on your own, and they're not very easy to master either. But once you do, and you get it, those games are incredibly rewarding experiences. Those are games where I feel like the time investment to learn them is well worth it because the games become super duper fun and rewarding once you do. As opposed to some games are just hard for the sake of being hard, and even if you master them, they're just annoying. I don't feel that way about FromSoft games. There you go. Okay. So all that being said, thank you, guys, for your support early this morning. Let's keep that momentum rolling, guys. We're at $6 in support right now. Let's see who's going to be the first person to give some subs over on Kick today. Who's going to be the first person to give some memberships on YouTube today, right? And who's going to top these 2? Only $2 we can get a bigger tip and a bigger super chat right now. Let's get that momentum going. I'll be honest. This react show doesn't get a lot of attention. It actually gets very little attention. So what I'm very nervous about here, excuse me, is that the streak might end with the final react show. And I really hope not. Because every other stream we're doing is doing amazing, right? Attendance is good, support is good, but I'm nervous about today's react show. Please, let's keep the momentum going, and please support the stream. Okay. By the way, I absolutely am sure you want this to continue, because when we hit 276 straight streams, goals hit, playing Stellar Blade. Yes. Okay. By the way, I received another tip, a $6 tip from Jackal Mixon. Thank you so much, Jackal. I'll play you an animation as soon as my page loads. Yeah. That's the biggest contribution of the day so far. And now we're up to $12 in support. Okay. So now, let's talk about something else that I really feel, sadly, hurt the momentum of the React show. We were about 1 year, one whole year into the React show. It was like January or February of this year, all right? And all of a sudden, my detractors and trolls discover this really stupid loophole on YouTube where you could use a VPN to act like you are located in a different part of the world, and you can buy things via that VPN that are definitely way cheaper than they're supposed to be. So they started doing this and coming to YouTube and doing things like mass buying YouTube premium subscriptions for like pennies on the dollar. And they started mass buying memberships. So they flooded my YouTube channels with this. DSP Gaming, DSP Reacts, and even when I launched DSP Throwback, they basically went to those channels and said, oh, I'm going to gift 50 members, 100 members, 500 members. And they were paying like $2 to do it. Okay? So what ended up happening is I had to scramble, and I had to find a way to undermine this, because here's the deal. This could completely destroy my React channel. Again, remember, my React channel was based on memberships. So Ultra members and these standard level members were submitting clips to be watched. Well, if overnight, all of a sudden, every single person has a free standard membership, because people were using VPNs to buy them for like 50 for 10 cents, right? Obviously, the whole show is going to get ruined. We can't have it be public submissions, because now there's going to be 5,000 submissions and we'll never be able to watch any of them, right? And let's be honest, if the most of the revenue was coming from memberships and now memberships were worthless, the show was going to become defunct overnight. So I had to scramble to fix this. And the only real way to do it was I had to change up the tiers of membership on DSP React. I had to I had to create another tier. So it used to be called standard members. I had to change that and then change it to be submissions tier members. Okay? So the cost of being a member went from $4 to $5. And there was nothing I could do about that. There was actually no way for me to fix it, because this is a YouTube side issue that's in their system. I've notified YouTube about this multiple times over the years, others as well, and no one really cares. They just let it ride and never fix it. So, these trolls almost ruined the React show. But by me creating this new tier of membership, the show was able to continue. But definitely I saw a huge dip in support. Like, I was getting, no lie, probably around 30, maybe more than that, members a week. And so, or members a month, I should say. And if you do the math there, let's say that they're $4 each times like 30 or 40. So I was making like $150 to $200 just on those members. Then I was getting Ultra members, and then I was making ad revenue. Overnight, I basically lost hundreds of dollars of revenue that I was making each month on that channel in the show, because they were abusing the memberships. So because it's out of my control, you know, I did my best, but I lost a ton of support. So now, essentially, I'm losing the amount of members that I had for the show. The show is not allowed to be as free as we want it to be, because we can't watch all the clips because of the kids only and the adults only. The streams are getting flagged and shut down midstream because of content ID. And then we're getting the same people submitting similar clips every single week. So it basically became a convoluted, unmanageable mess, and people didn't like it. At first, people did. And I think what it was is when the show started, the idea of, hey, we can get Phil to watch this clip that we've always wanted to see him watch, right? You guys were submitting some classic YouTube stuff. The original Boogie videos, right, of how he got famous, or Angry Grandpa, or a meme from a million years ago, right? What was it? The Duck Song. Stuff like that that's like YouTube history, but I don't know about YouTube history because I never followed it. I wasn't like a YouTuber who followed the memes or anything. I was someone who always just did his own thing and kind of didn't pay attention to what was going around YouTube with that kind of level of content. So it was actually fascinating. Excuse me, fascinating. And I would even say last year was extra cool because once we hit the holidays, we were doing like horror and Halloween themed content all October. We were doing Christmas content in November and December, and it made the show feel special for that time of year. It really did. But then this year, with all these issues, the VPN memberships, people, reducing massively the amount of support that the channel was getting, all these issues just compiled. And I noticed every single week, we were getting less viewers, we were getting less support on the live streams, and we were getting less members. And so finally, when the summertime hit, I kind of made the decision that I was going to probably discontinue the show or change its format. It was just a matter of like when. And what I originally wanted to do, I wanted the show to hit 100 episodes. And I figured when we hit 100, we'll retire it and we'll change the format. But what's happened is over the course of this year, as you know, I had a resurgence back in August. Now, I have more people who want me to do different kinds of content. And I have more people who want me to branch out and do things like politics or, hey, react to a big video essay or a documentary as opposed to just sit there reacting to random clips. Because I guess what we should do, we should outline the lessons learned from doing a show like this. So that way we don't make the same mistakes twice, correct? All right, we will do that in a second, but I received a $5 tip from Ugly Tuna Roll. I'm new to Kick. I missed the DS Politics. If I miss the DS Politics stream, will I be able to view it as an archive on Kick? Do you need to be subscribed to view it? Thanks. No, you do not need to be subscribed to the channel to view it, which is a paid thing, right? No, that you do not. What happens is on Kick, anything you broadcast then auto archives on the channel, and I believe it stays there for a minimum of 4 days. I'm not actually sure the maximum number of days that it stays on there, but it basically stays on there for a bit by itself. Now, I think you have the ability to like edit it out and actually make it last longer. I think, I don't know. I'm not a Kick aficionado. I'm relatively new there. I've only been streaming there for around a month. But yeah, it's auto archive, so you can watch it over the course of, say, the next few days to week. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to record the show myself, okay, locally. I'm going to clip out highlights and moments from the show that I feel are most notable, and I'm going to upload those highlights to the DSP Reacts channel. So now, even though the DSP versus the Internet show will not exist anymore, you're still going to see videos there every week from the political show. And I think it'll work because people are going to want to watch that without having to watch the Kick stream. Some people have outright said, we want nothing to do with Kick, right? And that's okay. I get it. If you don't like the whole way that the sites run, the financing, all right, that's fine. We'll move ahead and stream there, because that way, if I'm streaming there politically, I won't have any issue. They don't care about political content on Kick, as long as you're not saying awful things, you can basically talk about politics as much as you want over there. And then I will have the highlights on DSP Reacts. So you can watch the raw archive stream on Kick for a few days to a week after the fact, and then there'll be highlights that I've selected that I'll put onto the DSP Reacts channel that you can watch after the fact as well. Okay? Okay. Cool. So continuing on. Thank you, by the way, Ugly Tuna Roll, for the $5 tip. We're now at 17 bucks in support. Again, guys, let's get the support rolling. Who's going to be the first person to contribute on the Kick side of stuff today? Who's going to become a member? Who's going to become a sub and join the Founders Club, or who's going to give some subs over there, right? And on the YouTube side, who's going to become a member, or who's going to give some memberships to the community this morning? Let's get that support rolling again so we don't see the streak end just because I'm doing a react show today. All right? Okay. So, what lessons have been learned with me doing this react show? 90 episodes spanning almost 2 years. Number one, don't stream react content on YouTube. Seriously. It's just not worth it. When you're doing react content, the idea is to see the live reaction uninterrupted. If we have a chance that the stream is going to get suspended or shut down or have an issue, it ruins the whole experience. People don't want to sit around multiple times during a stream and have to wait 3 to 5 minutes for the stream to come back. It's incredibly frustrating. So for moving forward, if I'm going to react to anything, it's going to be streamed on Kick. All right? Just being honest. I don't see the point in streaming on YouTube when YouTube is going to shut you down every time you try to react. It's dumb as hell. So lesson learned, YouTube is not a good place to do it. Okay? That's number one. Number two, people want to know what they're going to see so they can plan if they're going to be interested in it or not. Okay? I feel like one of the biggest problems with the DSP versus the internet show is that it's literally a variety show and you don't know what you're going to see. So let's say, for example, this week you tune into the show and there's a bunch of clips about Singapore, but you don't care about Singapore. You're like, well, that was boring. So probably what's going to happen is next week you won't tune in. But the next week there just happen to be no clips about Singapore, but a bunch of clips that you were interested in. But crap, you missed it because last week was all about Singapore. You see, when you don't know what's going to be watched, you don't know if you're going to be interested. And I think what happened is a bunch of people tuned in at first to see if they would be interested, and maybe a week or two they were, but the moment that they weren't, they stopped tuning in. That was it. You know, the viewership dwindled. I had, on that show, I was getting, you know, originally, I was getting like 500, 600 viewers a week. Then it went down to 400. Then it went down to 300. Now we don't even get 200 viewers a week for the show. People are just done with it because they don't want to sit down and watch a bunch of stuff they don't like. If you don't know what's on the show, why would you tune in? So, if I'm going to do react content moving forward, right, I need to have it set up so that you know exactly what you're going to see. That way you can tune in and know it's something you like or you have interest in rather than taking a chance on it and then you wasted your time because it's something you find boring. Correct? I think that's a good way to go about it. So that's something we've learned. Don't stream on YouTube and have a planned subject matter laid out so that people know that they're tuning into something that they like, right? Now, I will say this. I did learn that the ability to have viewer input is key. If I'm going to do react content moving forward, I do need to have my audience or supporters through memberships be able to basically help me dictate what to watch. It's too much for me to go around the internet myself and try to find clips, especially with the busy work schedule that I already have. There's no way that I can do it on my own. Having people submit clips and me review them and get them ready for the show has been great, but I basically need to make sure that that input is valid. It's not people trying to troll me, but I also have to make sure that people feel like their input is valuable. I'm absolutely never going to have a successful react show if I just pick every single topic for myself and just do it and I'm interested in it. Listen, I might get like a core viewer base who likes that, but it's going to be like a dozen people, right? Oh, well, Phil, we're going to watch what Phil likes today. No, it has to be stuff that you guys want to see me watch and react to as well. So there has to be a level of input and interactivity. That's what I'd say. What are the biggest takeaways of what we learned from doing the show? Don't stream it on YouTube because there's too many problems, right? Be sure to have big viewer input because viewer input is key to the success of the show. You know, what was I forgot what the second one was now. But yeah, basically everything that we're leaning towards here is we need to do react content. Oh, to know what we're going to do ahead of time. That's right. We need to have react content that's scheduled, okay? That's meaningful, and that isn't all the time, okay? So moving forward, doing React content, which I am going to do, but it's going to be more long form. I'm not going to stream it on YouTube. I'm going to stream it exclusively on Kick. Okay? That's number one. Number two, we're going to have topics that you guys can submit, videos for you to suggest, for me to then go and review and pick the best ones and announce ahead of time so you know what to expect whenever you're tuning into one of my React streams. Now, oh, what's the surprise today? Is it going to be something else boring? No, you're going to know what the subject matter is. So when you're showing up for that, you're there for that, right? You're not there to just hope for the best. Okay? And exactly. Traversed said quality over quantity. Abso-freaking-lutely correct. Doing this show once a week doesn't work, because the only way it could work once a week is if I have a team, a crack team of people who are getting tons of clips submitted and they're scouring through the clips for variety, and so that they're not adult clips, and they're not kid clips, and that they're not content ID clips, and that they're clips that people want to see, and then it's presenting that to me. And that's what the big YouTubers have. They have people who sit there on a Discord and they sift through tons of submissions and they pick the best stories for them. I don't have that. I'm a small-time guy. I'm not Moist Critical, okay? I don't have people going through shit for me. I'm a one-man show. I have some editors and moderators who help me with stuff, but this is not their job, okay? This is just us trying to put out stuff together in like a community setting. I can't do what the big YouTubers do. And I think, sadly, back when people had the idea for me to do this kind of content, that's what they had in mind. They were looking at big YouTubers who literally have paid editors and paid people who go and do this Discord moderation and sifting of clips and shit. And then they expected like I was going to be able to do that. And I'm like, no, I'm not them. I'm a small-time guy. I got a bunch of ridiculous, mentally stunted, obsessed detractors who try to fuck with every piece of content I do. I can't do it the way that everyone else does it, you know? I wish I could. Really. I wish I could. I wish that I could do it the same way everyone else does it. I wish that I had the ability to have all of the freedoms to make content like everyone else. I literally don't. Because of the obsessed weirdos and losers out there, I can't do the content like others do. All right? So I've done the best that I could with the means that I had for about 2 years. It's not working anymore. That's why the show is retiring today. But the idea is to now bring the show back, name something different. It won't be DSP versus the internet anymore. All right? But we're going to do long-form React content instead of this short clip stuff. Because, again, that's another thing, too. When you're doing a clip show and you've got to move so fast because you basically have a requirement to watch clips. Right? I have to watch all the Ultra member clips today. Then we have to get to the submissions tier and we have to watch a good amount of those, or else people who paid and didn't get their video watched, they have a gripe with me, and it's a legit gripe. Well, that format doesn't work. That works when you have only a certain amount of people submitting. It doesn't work when you have a bunch of people submitting and now they're upset, right? So basically, this long form React show is going to work like this, okay? People are going to be able to stay members of DSP Reacts. And what's going to happen is people who stay as ultra members of the channel, which probably will not be a lot. I'm going to be honest with you. Since now we're not guaranteeing that clips will be watched, I bet we're going to go from like 10 ultra members to like 3. I'm just being honest. I think like my biggest supporters will stay ultra members, and everyone else is going to be like, nah, I'll pass. And they're either going to downgrade or just drop their memberships entirely. So immediately, ooh, the revenue that I was making on DSP Reacts is going to be gone. Okay. The good news is it wasn't a lot. It was literally only like a few $100s a month. I think the biggest month I've had recently on DSP Reacts, outside of the Rich React that I obviously did with Tino's Casino, a normal month on DSP Reacts maybe makes me like $500. And that's a decent month, you know. There's ones that goes up and down, but it's like $500 a month. It's like, if I lose the $500 a month to rebrand and refix the show and make it better, is that going to kill me? Probably not. Okay, especially with I'm doing so well on my other streams. I'm hitting the goals every single stream. It's not a big deal. Okay. But yeah, it's gonna suck because there's people who like the content and now it's not gonna be there anymore, right? So the way it's gonna work, I think we're gonna do is if you stay an ultra member of DSP Reacts, all right, I'm going to have a thread where you can submit topics or actual specific videos that you feel would be interesting for me to do long form React content to. Now, when I say long form React content, what I'm talking about is videos that probably are around 15 to 20 minutes long at a minimum, but could be upwards of hours long. We're talking video essays, documentaries, full-on series. That's the kind of stuff I want to cover now because I've been there, done that with the short form crap, and I don't think that it's really that meaningful anymore. Now, I want to say this. I'm not saying I'm never going to do short form reacting. In fact, someone had an interesting idea in the stream chat earlier. They said, how about this? On a day when you're going to do a long form react, turn on your stream. In this case, it would be exclusively streamed on Kick, so you don't have these issues with getting shut down. For the first 20, 25 minutes, okay, you do short form reacting to warm the crowd up. Watch a few clips, right? And then once you get, it's kind of like you go to the movies and they run the trailers and the ads first, and then they give you the main event, the big the feature presentation, right? So that's how I could do it. Or on the flip side of that, what if we have a long form react planned? We do the long form react, but then there's extra time at the end. Like maybe I had a 3-hour stream scheduled, but I finished within 2 hours. Well, then just do some clips at the end, react to some stuff randomly at the end of the show, right? So the short form reacting isn't going to disappear. It's just not going to be the featured presentation or the main event. Get it? There you go. So, Ultra members will be able to suggest the topics and or even specific videos that I will then sit down, review, and curate. And I think this is the biggest part that was missing from the DSP versus the Internet random clip show. There was no curation. It was just, I have to watch everything people submit. Now, I'm going to curate the topics and clips that I feel are the ones that are the most important or most interesting to me, maybe ones that I have the most to add or I can learn something from and can give meaningful commentary on. And that way, you will, again, know what the topic is when I set up the stream, right? So let's say the Ultra members over the course of 2-3 weeks submit 10 different topics. Now I can go through all of those, find the best ones, and I can announce, hey, everyone, in 2 weeks' time, it'll be the first big episode of the new DSP React show, and we're calling it this, and it's going to be this topic. Tune in this day, this time on Kick exclusively for the show, and I'll be recording it and clipping it and putting stuff and highlights of that show onto the DSP Reacts channel after the fact. Okay? I think that's going to work much better than what we're doing every week now. Or at least I would hope that that's going to do better than what we're doing now. Because the thing is, I like reacting. Just that I don't feel like what we're doing now is working. I want to go back to more meaningful stuff that people will show up for. And I think this would work at having the people suggest it, have a big hand in controlling, the topics. But at the same time, I specifically pick what we're going to talk about. I schedule it ahead of time. I tell you what it is. And then people have come and we all watch it together on Kick. It gives Kick exclusive streams, which I need on Kick. I need to get more viewership on Kick right now. I think that would help it a lot. Okay? So I think that would be cool. And by the way, the topics could be wide ranging. 1 week we could be doing a documentary about video games. And then in 2 or 3 weeks after that, we could do a video essay about the downfall of YouTube and how the algorithm is screwing people over. And then in another 3 weeks, we could do something about a holiday, a Christmas special, Like we could do all kinds of special stuff. And I think that's how it should work, is that it's always going to be a little bit of variety. And like someone said, quality over quantity. Instead of me worrying about, I got to do the show every week. I take my time. I space it out. I plan it appropriately. I tell you ahead of time. You get excited. We get pumped. We talk about it in the other content, and then we actually do it and have a good time, right? So you might say, all right, so this makes sense. So your DSP versus the Internet show ends today. You're going to start working on the long-form React show, and Ultra members are going to submit the topics for that show. Gotcha. What about submissions to your members, who are the people who have submitted the clips and went to the random playlist? Well, funny you said that. As you all know, this coming Thursday, on the late stream, exclusively on Kick, it is the premiere of my brand new show, DS Politics. And so, with a show like DS Politics about to premiere, what we're going to need is some input on the kind of topics that I want to cover on that show. Now, I've already told you I'm planning on clipping highlights from the DS Politics show and uploading them to the DSP Reacts channel on YouTube. I'm not going to broadcast there. I'm going to broadcast exclusively on Kick, but we're going to have the clips go on DSP Reacts. So there's going to already be a tie of the Politics show to the React channel, right? If you become a member, a submissions tier member of DSP React, in a thread, you will be able... Is the spelling mistake on purpose? This how you do govern? What? Let me see. The is how... Oh, the is how you do govern. I was saying... I didn't even notice that. I guess we got to fix that. The is how you do govern. I think we're supposed to say... This is how you do govern, not the is how you do govern. I think they screwed it up. So I'm going to have someone do a typo fix on that. Anyway. So, in the submissions tier, hold on a second. I'm sorry, I just love playing that. Anyway, so the submissions tier members on DSP Reacts will be able to submit news articles, video clips, and topics for me to talk about on the Politics show. Because the truth is, I will probably be able to at least stay up to date on big picture stuff. Stuff that has to do with the United States presidency, stuff that has to do with local government stuff. Like, I already kind of know stuff that's going on in my local area, and I'm going to be covering that stuff on the show. I will be talking about topics from my local government and things like that. But I'm sure you guys are going to know a lot more. You're going to have a lot of interesting topics and things for me to cover. And so if you become a submissions tier member, those will be the people who, in a thread, they will be able to submit that stuff. And so I'll be able to go through it maybe once or twice a week. I'll jump into that thread and I'll look at what people submitted and maybe, oh, that's a good video to watch and talk about. That's a good article to cover. Let me do a little bit of research and I'll talk about this on the show this week, right? So that's how you do it. So submission tier members on DSP Reacts will be submitting content for the political show. Ultra tier members will be submitting the topics for the long form React content. That'll probably happen once a month or maybe once every 3 weeks. You know, we'll put it in there so it's quality over quantity. Fair enough? That's how things are going to happen moving forward. Now, there very well could be more suggestions or better suggestions than that too. And I'm more than willing to listen to your feedback and your suggestions for improvement. I want to make sure that everyone gets a say and that everyone is basically getting the value out of stuff. I don't want DSP Reacts overnight to now become a defunct channel where there's no content. Keep in mind, if you think of it this way, there won't be any more clip show. So there won't be a stream and there won't be the 4 or 5 clips videos that I upload a week. But instead, we're still doing the once a week big reward for the support, right? DSP tries it every week. So one big video like that every weekend. And then we're going to have the clips from the political show that are going to go on the channel over the course of the week. And then when I do the long form reacts, that's going to be on the channel as well. So there's still going to be content. In fact, I would argue it'll just be different content and probably better content than the clip show that I was doing once a week. I think the clip show is kind of outdated at this point, and actually just having some, this other content, it's going to be better, right? So, I hope that you guys think this works. I would love your feedback. In fact, right now, what I would like to say is for those who are here live, of which there's almost 300 people on YouTube, and there's about 30 people on Kick, roughly. Whoever's there, I'd like you to toss some questions my way or some suggestions. Like, what do you guys think? Does this sound good? Does it sound like this is something you're interested in and will work? Do you have suggestions for improvement? Now would be the time to speak up as I'm starting planning for all of this content. I want to hear your voices. I want you to be known. If you think this works or not. On Kick, no one has talked for 5 minutes. And on YouTube, no one has talked for over a minute. Is anyone alive? Or am I talking to myself? Right? Magic Carp says, I think it'll be interesting to have philosophy tied in with politics. Maybe give your insight on things like Pascal's Wager or Plato's Cave. That's not political content, and that's not the purpose of that show, just to be honest. If you want to see stuff like that, you could submit that as a topic for long-form reacting. Put in a video essay that's 25 minutes long on that topic, and then I'll respond and react to it. That's not the politics show, okay? What's going on, Game Boy? How are you today? Welcome. What about a Discord? No, we're not doing Discord. Discord, I'm telling you for the millionth time, Discord's going to be too much work. It's not going to work. To have Discord work, you have to have a dedicated team of people who are going to sit there and micromanage the Discord and make sure that people don't fucking troll and be shitheads, that people aren't going to dox, that people aren't going to do this fucked up stuff. Every single time that there's been any kind of a Discord involvement, there's been problems. I have detractors who sit on Kiwi farms who just are waiting for a Discord so they can sit there and dox every single person who joins it. Okay? I'm not stupid. The Discord idea doesn't work for me because of the level of harassment that I get from nut jobs. Okay. Would I be open to do any debates in the future? It depends. It depends on if there's topics that I feel like I'm versed enough or, you know, well versed, educated, or even caring enough about to debate. I'm not saying no, but I'm saying right now that's not the intention of me doing this content right now. I want to just start with politics and see where it goes. Right? I need to start before I can expand into doing other shit. And I think like right now, no, it wouldn't make sense for me to start debating people. I'd look like a jackass. Some people are that dumb that they would literally go headfirst into debating people on politics before they've even done political content. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. I'm not like that. I'm going to actually take my time to develop the show and then perhaps at a future date do stuff like that. Okay? You think that there's a lot of typos? Hold on. There might be more typos. Let's take a look. Ready? No, that's spelled correct. DS Politics is spelled correct. It's because of the American flag being superimposed over the letters, it makes an I look like an L, but it is an I. You can see if you look closely. Okay. I received a $2 tip from Brand Flakes. Are you worried about pushing people away from you that don't agree with your political stances because people get offended and defensive over politics? That's why it has nothing to do with my other content. That's why the political content will not be on DSPGaming in any way, shape, or form and will not permeate into my regular streams. It very much will be content that I do, maybe once a week on Kick, live stream, with a few highlights on DSP React, and that's the extent of it. You will not see me sitting here talking about political topics on my regular streams, and if people try to bait me, I'm just going to ban them outright. I won't even give a shit, because that's always been the rules. No politics talk in the gameplay content, right? That's not what we're here for. If you want that, let's save it for the political show. And then if you want to try to do a crossover, I'll just ban you because you're a piece of shit. Yeah, it's pretty simple. So, listen, is it possible that someone will go to a politics show, hear my political stances, be upset that I have political stances, and then not watch my gaming content? Yes, but I can't help people from being stupid. Like, I just can't. You can't stop people from being dumb. So if they want to be dumb, if they're looking for problems and they find them, I mean, who's really to blame? I'm purposely setting this up as separate content so that no one has to deal with it if they don't want to. If you take the Level 1 podcast or my gameplay streams or my all of that, all that content, if you like that and you see it as an escape from real life and you don't want it to cross over to other content, I'm with you. I'm not against that idea. That's what we're going to do. You're not going to have to deal with politics if you're sitting here on a podcast. If people try to fuck with me, I'm just going to kick them out and they're not going to be able to stick around with us. We're going to have a good chill streams here like we always do. But at least this will now give an avenue for those who want that kind of content. You'll be able to go find it in the right designated place, and it will not cross over into the other content whatsoever. Okay? And that's the other thing. Double M says, well, if you say euthanize all puppies on Earth, I can't act like it doesn't apply outside of other channels. What kind of a monster do you think I am? I think that you think that I'm like some extremist, polarized political figure who's going to say, down with everything I stand against, and they should all be thrown into a volcano. No, that is not Phil Burnell. Phil Burnell is not someone who's an extremist who wants everyone who opposes him to be launched into space. Okay? That's just not how I am. You know, and you're going to understand that when I start covering politics, that in my opinion, the right way to cover stuff is that everyone has to basically be able to be safe, healthy, and happy without stepping on everyone else. Get it? And that's where I think politics in today's world has gone astray. Instead of realizing we actually all need to coexist, it's, well, my way or the highway. If you're not with me, you're against me. Death to all my enemies. Wait, what? Guess what? If that's the attitude we're all going to have, we're going to blow the planet up. We don't want to blow the planet up. We need to live on it. We can't live on space rocks flying through space because they've been blown off of the planet because we nuked it. All right? So we need to stop with this. All right? And we need to start being more rational. And that's the problem with our government. It's not rational in the United States. They just do a lot of bullshit. So you're going to see how different. Again, you're thinking, wow, Phil's going to go on there and he's going to say these horrible extremist things. No, I'm not. But for the record, you do realize that horrible extremist things are not allowed anywhere. Like, it doesn't matter if I tried to say it on YouTube, on Twitch, on Kick, hell, even on Rumble. You can't say that shit. It's not allowed. So I don't know what you think of me, that you think that I'm going to be saying these awful things. I'm not going to be dressed up like Adolf Hitler tomorrow wishing death to an entire race of people. You're out of your fucking mind. Like, what the fuck, dude? Is that really what you're afraid of? You're going to have Hitler Phil tomorrow on Thursday night? Like, what the fuck's your problem? Jeez. What the fuck? You people are out of control. Yikes. All right. It's actually getting quite cold in here. I need to close my window partially. Give me a second here, okay? There we go. And Piper says, are you really joking about that? Who's joking? He literally just said to me in chat, what if you say death to all puppies? I can't let it go. Why did you think I would say that? Right? What crazy fucking planet do you live on? Do you think I'm going to say that? Yeesh. Oh, I totally agree, Dab Hands. People today, again, they're too sensitive when it comes to politics, and their attitude is my way or the highway. Either you completely agree with me or you're my hated enemy and I hate you forever. And that is the stupidest, most immature philosophy you can have in life. You will get absolutely nowhere trying to live your life like that at all. You have to work with other people who you may not even agree with on many topics in order to be successful in life. It's the only way to do it, you know? Or else everyone just wants to destroy each other. And then the world's gone within a week, you know? All right. So anyway, we've had a big major discussion about this. I hope that all of this makes sense to everyone. All right. So this coming Thursday, there's going to be 3 major topics discussed. The first is going to be Jasper Kitty. Now, the first is going to be about a series of mean text messages that have been being sent around the country and how mainstream media is covering these mean text messages. I'm not kidding. This is actually real news that's being covered by mainstream media. The second topic is going to be, why did the Democrats lose the 2024 presidential election? And I'm going to analyze the strategy that the Democrats used to run and the topics that they covered. I'm going to cover statistics. I'm going to cover various different things to show you what happened and give you my opinion on why they lost. All right? And then lastly, as kind of a closer to the show, I'm going to cover I'm going to cover local news. This is from my particular local news. All right. Saying, hey, everyone, it's the time of year to donate, especially to like your local food drives and stuff. Oh, but by the way, if you're going to donate, be sure that you're only donating healthy foods, and be sure now that you're now donating culturally diverse foods for a diverse populace. So that's what I'm going to be covering this week on DS Politics. Those 3 topics. Okay? If any of those sound interesting to you, you should tune into the show live on Thursday night. I think you're going to enjoy it because I have a good amount of stuff to say about all of those topics, quite frankly. And I feel like I'm informed enough about to put out a good show for you guys, and it should be a good one. All right? So the Red King did a $5 super chat. What area in politics do you think you have the best grasp on its fundamental concept? What do you think will create the most dialogue amongst your viewers? You know that the most dialogue will always be generated by talking about Donald Trump. You know that, right? Like, Donald Trump has been one of the most talked about political figures in history because he's not a politician. He came from the world of business and reality television. He's a celebrity that got turned into a politician. And now he's always the talk of the town whenever there's politics. Everyone knows that, right? So obviously, over the course of me covering politics, I'll be covering a lot of topics about Donald Trump that everyone's going to want to hear about. But my goal is to not have entire shows just about the Donald, but instead to have that balance. So for example, this Thursday, I'm not just talking about the Democrats losing the election. I'm also going to talk about 2 other stories that I feel people will enjoy that are kind of versed in stuff that I know about and stuff like that. And that's it. That's why I'm telling you guys, I need to have submissions tier submissions for the show because I need you guys. See, Jasper Kitty can't do it all alone. He needs help. Okay. He can't submit all the clips himself. So submissions to your members on the React show are going to be submitting news stories, clips, and topics for me to take a look at. And I'll go through all those every week. And I'll determine the ones that I think are best for me to talk about, or I could find, information enough about to educationally talk about and cover them on my show. I can only do so much myself, right? So that's what I need the help for. And I'm sure that there's going to be people who enjoy the fact that, so I can actually have that level of kind of control over Phil's show by suggesting certain topics for him to talk about on it. Yes. So thank you, the Red King, for a $5 super chat. That gets us up to $24 in support. Now, guys, I'm going to be honest. We are now about a half an hour away from the end of the show. We're only at $24 of support. Historically, every single time that I do this React show, we get nearly no support during the show. The viewers plummet. Like right now, like I said, we have around 300 viewers on YouTube. We have like maybe 30 viewers on Kick. When we start the React show, we're not even going to have 200 viewers between the two. All right? Obviously, I don't want to see the streak end because I'm doing a finale to the React show. So please support the stream now. Before people take off, let's get some support going. Let's get some gifted subs over on Kick. We got none. Let's get some memberships and gifted memberships on YouTube. We've got none. Let's get a big tip it. Let's get that rolling, okay? Okay. All right. So here's the deal. That's what I had to talk about today. All right. Yesterday, what did we do on stream? Let's do a quick update for everyone. Yesterday, I streamed Life is Strange Double Exposure. Did we beat it? No. I wish that we had, but we didn't. I need one more stream to finish Life is Strange Double Exposure, and likely I'm going to be doing that on Friday's daytime stream, because for the rest of the week, we were already booked, okay? So here's the deal. So far, Life is Strange Double Exposure has actually been pretty good except for a half an hour. Yesterday, there was a half an hour of the game and that half an hour turned it into a bisexual dating simulator. Okay? Now, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with being bisexual, and I'm not saying that there's anything with a game being a dating simulator, except that this game isn't supposed to be a bisexual dating simulator. It's supposed to be you solving a murder mystery and using powers to go between dimensions. And they decided to interject 30 minutes of crap into the game because they thought, oh, this will be culturally relevant. And it's stupid, okay? For anyone who even enjoyed the first Life is Strange, there was some of that too. Remember when Max and Chloe were in each other's bedrooms flirting and shit like that? But you can laugh at it. In this case, they're actually making you, for 30 minutes, pick smash or pass every character in the game. And it's male and female, okay? So here's the thing. You can't skip it. And if you could, then maybe it'd be all right, but you can't. You literally have to play this segment, and it's annoying as shit because all you want to do is get back to the interesting plot. Why was someone murdered? What's going on with the mystery? Oh, wait. Do I smash or pass my friend? Do I smash or pass their mother? Do I smash or pass this teacher? Who fucking cares, you immature dolt who wrote that segment? You're a fucking immature idiot. Nobody gives a fuck about smash or pass. Do that in your own time. And people who paid money for a murder mystery game with powers don't want to fucking bother with your bullshit. You're a fucking loser hack. You understand? So, outside of that half an hour, as soon as the game got back to the story, it was great again. I was like, wow, this is great. So, yeah, basically, you had to put up with this half an hour of bullshit. But once you got through it, the game is good. And actually, we're in this big push to the finale. The plot has picked up big time. And I'm actually very excited to see how it ends. So we do need another stream of it. So let's talk about the schedule. But it's actually so cold in here, I'm going to close my window even more. There's this cold breeze coming in and my feet are freezing. I'm like, damn, I gotta close this window almost the whole way. Okay, so here's the schedule, all right, what's gonna happen. Today, it's the conclusion of DSP versus the internet on this first stream. As soon as this podcast ends, we're gonna go over to DSP Reacts for the final stream there, and then, or you could just stick around on Kick and it's gonna basically shut down and resume here, okay? It'll be the final variety show. Thanks to everyone who supported and submitted clips for the show. The final send-off should be fun. Then tonight on the late stream at 7 p.m. Pacific time, it is the premiere of my third ever run in Bloodborne. This time played on the PS5 Pro with the PS4 graphics boost enabled. So we should hopefully have a little bit of extra graphical performance there. How am I going to play it? What build am I going to use? I literally have no clue. I mean, I've played the game twice, and I still never really even used the transforming weapons, remember? Like, basically, I just kind of used the basic stuff, and what I want to do this time is really try to, like, master the parry system and get better at it so that I can, like, parry bosses and stuff, like, regularly. I think that would be super fun. So I'm going to try to do that. But as for the weapons and stuff, I don't even know what's good in the game. I don't even know what I should use, so I'm going to make it hopefully a nice interactive playthrough this time where we can talk about that on the fly and try to make these determinations. You know, I'm in no hurry to get through the game or anything. So we can really talk and take our time and, you know, and see. So that should be fun tonight. This is the game that you have most voted to be the game that you want to see get played this week. This beat out Veilguard, this beat out Call of Duty, and it beat out Life is Strange. Everyone, like 40+% of people, like 700-800 people voted and said, we want Bloodborne. So that's coming starting tonight, okay? Then, tomorrow, on the day stream, it'll be the premiere of Dragon Age Veilguard, me actually playing the real game on the PS4 Pro. We've played through the hour-long intro, and now we're going to get to the actual meat of the game, give it a 3-hour stream, and see if it's good. I don't know. We'll judge for ourselves when I play it tomorrow. Then tomorrow night on the late stream, it's the return of Call of Duty Black Ops 6 multiplayer, where I'm going to continue to play with the handgun and hopefully get akimbo handguns and then go from there. Wednesday, I do not have a daytime stream because I have personal stuff that I need to do off stream. And therefore, hopefully, you will join me for that on Wednesday night when I continue with Bloodborne. All right, because there will be a late stream on Wednesday night of Bloodborne. Thursday, the day stream will be more Veilguard and likely more Call of Duty. And then Friday, excuse me, not more Call of Duty. It's going to be a Veilguard and then my politics show premiering on Thursday night on Kick. So DS Politics, late night stream Thursday on Kick. First time ever doing a political show. And then Friday, the conclusion of Life is Strange, double exposure on the first stream, and the return of Friday Night Fights. I'm very excited to have Friday Night Fights return. We haven't done fighting games now in almost a month. The only determination is, do we want to do Marvel vs. Capcom Collection, or do we want to do Street Fighter 6? And the thing is, like, I'm down for either. I think either would be very fun. So we'll talk about it over the course of the week. But there you go. All right. So that's what we're doing this week. It should be exciting. And I want your feedback on all of that. Okay. All right. So guys, we have about 20 minutes left on the show. What I'd like to do is open up the stream to Q&A. You guys tag me in the chat or please support the stream. Right now, only $24 of support, and we're about to head into this React show. I am nervous. I don't want this to end. Obviously, we've had such an amazing run. 59 straight streams, hitting the goals, crushing the trolls, keeping the momentum going. All right, let's try to see. Let's get that hit by the end of let's do 20 minutes of support. Non-stop support. Let's do it. Let's get subs. Let's get memberships. Let's get super chats. Let's get tips. Let's get the momentum rolling right now so we can get into this final React show and not have to worry about it whatsoever and just enjoy it and have a good send-off. All right? So who's going to do it? Who's going to start the momentum right now? In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I thought I was going to do a middle finger. 1. Luthes with a $5 Canadian super chat. You say you got a new following. Give Rebirth a chance with this new following. No one wants to see me play Rebirth. Sorry. It's like 5 people, maybe. No one in the new following that came from Kino Casino has come by and said, hey, you know, I was just hoping someone would be playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and finally I found Darkside Phil, and now we can watch it. It didn't exist. It doesn't exist. I wish it did. I have a PS5 Pro where I can play Rebirth in insanely good quality. You know what I'm saying? But I'm telling you, it's a very small group of people who want to see this, right? It really is. And the quicker people accept that and understand it, the better. Sadly, people just want to like believe because, you know, you and 2 other people ask for it that it's like desired. It's literally not. All right. I played it a lot. No one was watching. People desperately begged me to stop playing it. It's not going to work. I wish it would. Really, I wish it would. It doesn't work, man. We gave it a shot. I mean, do you want me to be honest with you? That's how I'm going to get the streak killed. Seriously. That's how the streak will end. The streak will end because I start playing that game, and again, I get less than 200 viewers. No one supports because you're like, why are you playing this shit? And then it's done again. It's like, what the fuck? So, no, I'm not doing it. That's the other thing, too. You're right. Dab Hands, I loved Metaphor. I played 12 hours of the Metaphor demo. I wanted to play the real game, but no one supported the Metaphor demo. We ended up getting streams with like less than $50, streams where we couldn't bring in 200 viewers. I'm telling you, the JRPG doesn't work anymore. It sucks because I love JRPGs. I think they're amazing games. I would absolutely love to do JRPG playthroughs. Okay? They don't work on my streams or in my channel anymore. They just don't. These JRPGs don't hold an audience. Western RPGs sometimes can, but not JRPGs. You know, I mean, I'm not convinced that Veilguard's going to keep an audience. We're going to do it for a stream or 2 and test it and see. And if we end up getting low viewership and low support and people not showing up and people complaining it sucks, we're not playing it. We're going to see what happens. But I'm really not convinced. How do I plan on getting hours up on DS Politics to qualify for better perks on Kick if I only do 1 stream a week? Well, the way it works on Kick, it's average viewers. over the course of all of your streams. Okay. Currently, my average viewers are between, I think it's like 40 or 50 is my average viewers right now on Kick. Okay. If I start doing streams that regularly bring in a lot more views, like if these politics streams are bringing in 100 viewers or 200 viewers, okay? If I start doing long form react streams once a month or once every 3 weeks, and that brings in like 100, 200 viewers, that's going to skyrocket the average numbers. It's that simple, okay? Since those streams will not have split views. Here, right now, I have split views. Like right now on YouTube, I got 274 viewers, and on Kick, I've got about 40. So I've got about 310 total viewers, but they're split between two sites. If I was only streaming on Kick right now, I'd have a hell of a lot more viewers on Kick, and I'd be hitting those average requirements. I think the requirement is it 75? Is it 100? You need like between 75 to 100 average viewers on Kick to qualify for like the higher tiers of stuff. And I don't get that because my audience is split. So if I'm only doing politics over there, that's going to be a much more viewed stream. If I'm only doing long form reacts over there, that's going to be a much more viewed stream. And so hopefully that'll start to get my numbers up. If it doesn't, it's not the end of the world. Listen, I'm happy with how things are going on Kick. I'm making good money over there. There's no complaints in that department. In fact, I actually believe that in that regard, Kick is probably the best monetization system, because once you hit their requirements, you immediately can monetize and start making money, as opposed to like every other one. It's like, get this amount of views, get this many average streams, get this qualification here, get this many subs, get this many followers, stream for this long, do this. It's like this long, arduous process, right? I qualified for it within like 2 days on Kick, and I was able to monetize. And immediately I was making thousands of dollars. Get it? On these other places, it's like so much work. Like, fuck this. Like, what the fuck? I just want to sit here and make my content, make some money, and you got to act like I got to qualify to get a passport, or, you know, to legally register to like get married or to adopt a kid or something. Like, what the fuck is going on? It should be a simple process, not me having to jump through 17 hoops. So, yeah, Kick has been really good in that regard. I don't even know. Like, for example, the next tier that I can get on Kick is considered verified. I don't even know what I get for being verified. Do I get any special features? I've heard rumors that you get paid every week instead of once a month. Is that true? It doesn't say that anywhere. It literally doesn't say anywhere what verification gives you on Kick. They act like it's something prestigious that you want, but they don't even tell you what it is. So I don't even know if I care. And then the third tier on Kick, I guess, is the one where they offer you a contract that while you're streaming, you actually get paid a flat rate. But number one, I don't think they would ever offer me that contract because I don't have enough of a viewer base. And number two, I believe that's an exclusivity contract that says you can only stream on Kick, which I don't want to do. So I don't think I would even accept that anyway. It would just be me about getting the verification. I don't even know what that means. So Casanova says, I know you like our JRPGs. What about you open up a separate tips pot for the day you play JRPGs? You get the amount you need, so when you play and get nothing, no loss. Casanova, I shouldn't have to completely redesign the entire way that streamers stream in order to play JRPGs. I think that's kind of ludicrous. I think that if people like JRPGs and want to see me play them, they should show up to the streams and support the streams. It's not like rocket science or anything. It's pretty standard. When a streamer's streaming content you want, you should show up and support it. And if you don't like it, don't show up and don't support it. And historically, I'm seeing people don't show up or support JRPGs. You know, it's not even. The thing is, when I'm streaming JRPGs, like, for example, when I was doing the Metaphor streams, like, you could have shown up during the podcast and supported the stream, and people still didn't. You know, it wasn't like, oh, I was streaming for an hour. You only had an hour to show up. No, my stream, you know, there was a big, ample opportunity to show up and support. People didn't do it. There's no special system of fundraising where you support another way. I have like 17 ways to support me. Do you understand? I have a Patreon. I have a merch store. I have super chats, super stickers, memberships, gifted memberships, subs, gifted subs, and tips. I think that's enough ways for people to support me that we don't have to start completely inventing other ways now for me to play RPGs. I think it's kind of ridiculous because that's all I keep hearing is excuses, but no actual support. It's like, Don't make the excuse for I didn't get the support. Just give the support. And then there will be no excuse needed, right? And it didn't happen. People didn't show up and didn't support. I tried so hard with Metaphor. I wanted to play Metaphor. I would have liked nothing more than have to have been playing Metaphor for the last month with all of you and enjoying arguably the best RPG of the year. But I couldn't because no one fucking showed up. Sorry. But I consider doing fan zombie lobbies. Can't do fan lobbies. They don't work because trolls show up. I've only explained this 5,000 times. What's the big massive game to wrap up 2024? I don't think there is one. At this point, like literally here are the games that are left this year. You guys ready? You want to talk about a year that was underwhelming and just fizzled the hell out? Just listen to this. Here's what's actually left in the year. Slitterhead, which we skipped, so it's a maybe. Dragon Quest 3 Remake, that's not going to do anything. Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, great for a chill stream, but certainly not a blockbuster. Stalker 2, which probably won't do much of anything. Marvel Rivals, Indiana Jones. And that's it. That's the year. This has been one of the most underwhelming gaming years I have ever seen in the history of the hardcore gaming season. It has had almost no hit. What's the biggest game I'm playing right now? Call of Duty. For sure. By far, Call of Duty is the big one. You know? There's just nothing going on, man. I don't know if I'm playing Stalker 2 or not. That's what I mean. Like, this is really it. Like, this is this year. It's going to be hard. Some years, all right, it's actually, like, tough for me to pick the top 10 most disappointing games of the year, okay? This year, it's going to be tough for me to pick the top 10 best games of the year because I don't think there were 10 good games this year. I'm being serious. I mean, it's been that fucking bad of a year where games are massively underwhelming. Massively not just too simplistic, too much of the same. They run like shit. They're boring, repetitive. They fall off halfway through. You fall the fuck asleep. You know what I mean? Like, I've at this point, we're almost at the end of the year. I have absolutely no clue what my game of the year is. I'm gonna really have to go back and scour the year for the games that I played. Now, the good news is there's a few I'm still playing. For example, right? I'm gonna play Veilguard this week. That's a possibility for something that might or might not be good. We still got Flight Sim. We do have Indiana Jones. Maybe Indiana Jones would be good, right? We have a few others to consider. But man, this is going to be hard to determine. Like, I feel like it's going to be like really like bottom of the barrel scraping at this point. The problem is, okay, here's the problem. Too many fucking RPGs. Games industry has to stop developing 700 RPGs in 1 year. Too many games are following the same formula. Too many games are feeling samey, and they're all now cutting into each other and cannibalizing each other. You can't have a year where you released 50 RPGs and be like, well, the top 10 games of the year are all RPGs. No one cares. People are looking for maybe 1 or 2 good games of a genre every year. They don't want 17 of the same genre that are the best games of the year. You get bored. That's the problem, especially with me, who's a variety content creator. The audience doesn't want to see another 700 RPGs. They want to see a really good fighting game, a really good shooter, a really good adventure game, maybe a good open world driving game, right? An RPG. They want to see variety. And it's just RPG, 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 RPG. Enough fucking RPGs. We get it. You like making them, but the market is flooded. It's enough is enough. Make other shit. Innovate. Stop being samey. Stop copying the previous work you already did or copying the work of others because you've lost your ability to be creative. Instead, make a good game or stop fucking complaining that sales numbers aren't up to your insane expectations because you make the same fucking game 700 times. It's a games industry problem. It really is. The games industry has this issue and needs to fix it. And I can't make them fix it. So until the games get better, I'll do my best to maintain, to juggle the games that we're enjoying, and to do other content that's fun too. Because that's the good thing is now people don't just come here to see me play games. They actually want to see me do a podcast. They want to see me do a react show. They want to see me do politics content. They want to see Phil branch out and do cool new stuff. And I appreciate that because my lord, this year was so underwhelming for games, and I don't think it's going to get better anytime soon. It's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. I think it will get better, but it's going to take a while. Every once in a while, what happens is in these industries, they get a wake-up call. They get a shake-up, right? And that's all it's going to take. It's going to be, hey, after so many years of record high sales of games, all of a sudden this year, games tanked. Why? Because you made the same game for the 400th time and no one wants it. Because you made 400 remakes instead of new games. And so eventually, people are going to have to change and listen. Right now, they're not. These game makers are not listening. And then they're complaining that their numbers are down. Like, well, you made shit. You made too much of the same shit. It wasn't that you made bad games. You made too much of the same games. And people don't want the same game 700 times, right? We need true big innovations. Games that are groundbreaking. Games that feel like new creative experiences or cultural events. Whatever happened with a big new game release feeling like a cultural event. A new game's coming out, and you and all of your friends are getting it, and are going to be playing it and talking about it at all times, and you're going to be able to jump online. There's videos about it everywhere. It's on social media. What happened to that? Now a game comes out. It's like people talk about it for a day, and then it's on to the next. No one even gives a shit that the game even released. What the fuck? What happened? Games used to be these big, exciting events, and now it's just like farts in the wind. You smell it for a second, then it's gone. On to the next fart. Well, I don't want to be a systematic fart sniffer. I want to actually enjoy games again. We got to bring back we got to make games great again. Make gaming great again. MGG. Oh, no. Yikes. All right. I know. Darzy X says, I think that's what Stuttering Craig was trying to sell. Oh, I know. I know. Mr. Shilling Craig, Mr. fucking scam artist over there. Hey, send money to my campaign so we could do our own game awards. Oh, that's gonna go down well, right? Sure, bro. Anyway. All right, guys. Final segment, final chance. If you want to support the stream, please do, guys. I'm going to be very honest now. Look at this. I'm very nervous. I don't want the streak to end just because we're doing the final react show. I'm nervous right now. I don't know what's going to happen. I hope that people will support, but people really don't support the react show that often. So it makes me very nervous. I hope this is not the end of the streak. I'm nervous about it now. And I'm going to be worrying about it the whole fucking show. And it pisses me off because I shouldn't be doing that. I haven't had that feeling in a while. And I want this momentum to continue. I want to do the decades menu on Friday with all of you. I want to freaking be doing Stellar Blade when we hit 276, right? Excuse me. Whew. Switch to Bloodborne. Preserve the streak. No, we actually have to do the final react show. It's a commitment that I made. The members need to have their final week here. Okay, really, I have to do the react show. I can't just say, hey, because we got low support today, cancel the react show and do Bloodborne. I mean, we're doing Bloodborne tonight. I have no doubts that the Bloodborne stream will be supported. But yeah, right now, this makes me nervous. Hey, there's a ton of you on the stream right now. So there's really no excuse. We got 300 people on YouTube. We got like 30, 40 people on Kick. All right? There's no excuse right now. Keep that streak alive. Let's do it. For those of you who begged for Stellar Blade for so long, I presented the opportunity. Get me to 276. I'll play Stellar Blade. That's not me joking. I will play Stellar Blade when we hit 276. I know they announced a Stellar Blade and Nier Automata crossover. It was hilarious because they talked to, I forget the name of the guy who's like in charge of the Nier series, that eccentric dude who always wears the hat. So they asked him, would you, or, you know, what's going on with that? He goes, I will do every single collab possible. He's like, I like money, so every collab is possible. I will do crossovers with every franchise, so just throw them my way. I was like, wow. You know what? The dude's fucking honest. You got to respect that, even if you think it's like grifting or whatever. I mean, that's pretty crazy. He's like, nah, fuck it. I'll put my shit on toilet paper. I don't care. You know? Damn. Do I think all art is political or all art can be interpreted politically? Very simple. Anyone can interpret anything how they want. And I know that from experience. When I sit here and I very calmly talk about a subject that I feel is like just a normal thing to talk about, and my detractors turn every single, you know, tiny little anthill into a ginormous fucking Mount Everest, right? Like, I could be talking about the most innocuous, tiny little insignificant thing, and they turn it into like the next huge controversy, the next Watergate for me, right? So it's just so simple that to do it. I really feel like people can do that so easily because of drama. You know what I'm saying? So you can take any piece of art, you can take anything and turn it into whatever you want, because that's human nature. That they want to hear drama, they want to hear controversy, they want to turn everything into something it's not, because for some odd reason, they find entertainment value in it, or maybe it makes them feel better about themselves if they feel like there's some intrinsic evil in everything else around them. I don't know. But I certainly don't give a shit. I don't play that game. All right. Well, guys, I guess that's it. Let's end the show. I was hopeful, but I guess not. I guess this will be the end of the streak. We're throwing in the towel. This is it. I give up. I throw in the towel now. Here's my towel. I give up. I wave the flag. 59 streams, all for naught. We end the streak today. You could only raise $27 on the podcast. So I give up. It's over. It's completely over. All right? All right. Let's get set up for the show. The React show, that is. Oh, hold on. I received a $2 tip. I can't end the show yet. We will donate $1,000 every Rebirth stream if you play it. Loyal courtiers will make sure it's worth it for our amazing king. I don't believe you. Here's the truth. Don't donate $1,000, and then I will start playing Rebirth again in the belief that you're going to do that. I don't believe you saying that up front because I already played it and people didn't contribute at all. You understand? So, no, I don't believe you. You're full of baloney. Okay. Thank you for the $2 tip, though. I appreciate the efforts. Okay. Let's end the show. And I'll get set up for the React show. For those of you who are here on YouTube, you're going to see a pop-up appear on your screen that's going to say, hey, everyone, head over to DSP Reacts because the React show is starting. And for those of you who are on Kick, just stick around. The stream will go offline, but then it will very shortly go back online, and you'll be able to join me over for the React show. All right, everyone. Thank you for a great podcast. I hope that you enjoyed my discussion about the end of the short-form React show and my ideas for the new shows coming up. And I hope you will join me for the show, the final episode ever today. Peace out, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow to tell you how it all went with the finale of the React show as well as Bloodborne. See you then.